Ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls, to all of our non-binary friends, to everyone on the spectrum and in between, welcome to another episode of The Shutter Show. My name is Ken Stacknick, and with me, as always, is...
David Marlowe.
David, how you doing today?
Ken, man, I'm happy to be here. I'm so excited to get this episode going. But man, my brain is melted. It's been such a weird fucking week. Like, to start the week off, like literally to start the almost the entire week off. Ever since we moved into this apartment out here in Indy, the whole apartment complex, it used to be Section 8 housing, and so they've been renovated. It's got new ownership and it's going under a full renovation. And these construction crews are almost all subcontractors, and they all suck. And I had an interaction with one member of the asphalt subcontractors, where they've been taking forever. They haven't met a single deadline. They haven't. They're draining the clock for the extra hours. Pretty much is what's happening, and you see that with a lot of construction work. But it's particularly frustrating in a residential area. But so I was getting ready to leave. I was already in a hurry, and they were getting ready to unload the excavator, and they were pulling in and were going to block me in completely. So I went to go around them, and the guy ends up getting pissed off at me, and it all ends pretty much in one of the subcontractors getting out of his truck and threatening to pull me out of my truck and beat the shit out of me.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah, to which point it becomes a full day situation where like immediately after I go and I have to go report this guy to management, and then pretty much I walk up to management, and I feel so bad for this girl because the first thing that happens to start her day off is me walking up to her and be like, "These fuckers have to go." and she's like, "What's going on?" And I explained the whole situation to her. And it all it's kind of funny because were it not for this guy, it would have taken them at least another 2 weeks to finish the work they were doing, that they then proceeded to finish in 2 days because management said you need to be gone by the end of the week because I'm sorry, we're fed up with your shit. And now the pavement's done. It's this asphalt company called Young & Sons. I don't give a fuck about calling them out. They're pieces of shit. They're terrible at their job. Fuck this company. And he's like, and if they want to stir up some shit, maybe don't hire people that threaten tenants with physical violence. I don't know. Maybe it's not me to tell you how to do your job. But
Seems
then
bad.
later on in the week, my wife and I are actually getting ready to buy a house. We are.
Oh shit! Congrats.
Thank you. We are starting this process out with the very generous help of on my parent with my wife's parents, and they're going to help us with a down payment, but we are now in the process of getting pre-approved.
Yeah.
And so we put in the application and everything. And so, when you do a hard credit pull, turns out you get a bit of a ding to your credit. Wife gets 9-point ding. And then my credit, which I've taken 4 years to repair from under 500 points, which is now at 745, all of a sudden I dip 79 points. Doesn't make sense. So we look at it and they're like, "Oh, you used up 50% of your credit." And I'm like, "Okay, well, that makes no sense because I literally just paid my cards off." And they're like, "But what about this account that has a credit limit of $50,000? That $31,000 has been used." And this account is new to me. I have no idea what the fuck it is. I don't know where it came from. It must all we can think is this must be some kind of crazy mistake where somebody's information got merged with my credit account.
Sure.
Like, I disputed everything. Next day I go to work at my job. I'm not going to name my employer just for the sake of, last thing I want to do is stir up shit with him. But I tell one of my coworkers, one of the carpenters, kind of the story about the 79-point dip, and he immediately goes, "Oh, I know what that is." And I'm like, "How could you possibly know what that is?" And he goes, "Yeah, that's our company." "What do you mean that's our company?" He's like, that's your company card." Wait, what? And he goes, "Yeah, because one of our carpenters who quit recently because things have been a little crazy at work, for reasons I will not specify. He left the job and he went to go trade in his truck for a new one for a new job that he's taking. And when they pulled his credit, his credit dropped 130 points." Because sure enough, he looks, and on his history is that same $50,000 credit limit, except instead of the 31,000 that I have, his was 49,000. So not only has the company been putting our company cards in our names and attached to our credit, but also they're not paying off the balance of those cards. So all the carpenters have been taking massive hits to their credit.
Good times.
It's been a weird week, Ken. All literally as we're about to try and get a pre-approval for a home, and we're going to go look at homes this Sunday.
Well, there we go. Well, this has been the Carpenter Credit Corner of the Shutter Show. Yes, that's,
I know that's a long-winded way of being like, my week has been just absolute chaos and everything is burning. And
this will be a non-reoccurring segment
with you. But Ken, we're not talking about credit ratings here the whole
No,
time.
or carpentry.
And no, what are we fucking talking about, buddy?
Well, speaking of carpentry, we are building
the month
to
of the witch.
Yes, indeed, and nothing but bangers for us. And we are talking about Psycho Goreman, not Psycho Goreman, Psycho Goreman.
Goreman, PG, if you will.
Indeed,
and we have tried so hard.
I have tried so hard.
Okay, you know what? I'm not going to take any of this credit, Ken. You deserve all the credit. You have tried so hard to get this film on this podcast.
Whether it was you or the Instagram folks, they were like, "Nah, let's do the other movie," and I was like, "All right, this movie's really fun though." And David, tell the audience at home just how fucking fun this movie is.
It is so much fun. Ken, I did not expect to have as much fun watching this as I did. Because here's the thing, I went into this expecting Turbo Kid.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good film to compare it to. Turbo Kid, Psycho Goreman is what Turbo Kid wishes it was.
Yes.
And was trying to do, but without the pixie dream girl.
There's so many movies that desperately want to do what Psycho Goreman does. And this movie, to quote a really entertaining YouTube channel that I watch called Scaredy Cats, this feels like a movie that was specifically designed for me. I could watch this movie every day, and it is full of the best, wettest puppets. And it's.
Were you a fan of Power Rangers and are now an adult? Psycho Goreman.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you like fantasy? Do you like weird sci-fi? Do you like epic weirdness, but also really fun, quirky comedy based on character stuff? Do you like the dedication to the bit in this movie is incredible. So many other movies would feel bad or silly about making this movie, and this movie just says, nope. This is what I am. Behold in all of my glory.
It is the gay pride parade of 80s of 80s retro flicks. If I could try to put a description on it, it's just so out and proud.
I mean, he is into Hunky Boys.
Oh yes. Oh my God, yes. He's just
in one of the
Hunky Boys.
Well, it just so and that's that in so many other movies that line would be cut because there isn't really a big crazy payoff for it, but no, that's perfect. Him, the zombie cop, the
character that's literally just a bucket of body parts.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the brain, tentacle brain, love interest,
Alistair.
Alistair, yeah, just this movie, ladies. All right, David, which one of us wants to do the summary on this one?
Ken, I'm gonna make you. Okay, fuck it. I'm gonna give it a try, and then I'm gonna need you to correct me.
Okay.
So, Psycho Goreman is about a brother and sister, who are who are two kind of loners with very supportive parents who, while playing in the backyard, decide to dig a big hole and find an ancient creature that is capable of destroying entire galaxies, and is part of a massive galaxy epic quest, and has been locked in this tomb. And the little girl is able to free the monster, and now with this gem that was attached to the tomb, controls the monster and can get the monster to do whatever she wants it to. Even though literally literally anything. Even though that monster wants nothing more than to rip her spine out of her body, and she could not care less. Does that summarize it quite well?
Yeah, and let me say, when we say the amulet allows her to get him to do anything, it involves everything from help this boy fall in love with me to we're going to play sports together to we're going to start a band together and you're going to learn to play the drums.
Which also leads to one of my favorite lines of, I just don't get sports. Nope.
That's a great thing. I think one of the things about this movie, or first off, let's start off by just singing the praises of Steven Kostanski, who is the director of this movie, who, by his filmography, you would not expect what I will full on say is a perfect movie to come out of his oeuvre. Steven has directed such things as Manborg and Laser Ghosts 2, Return to Laser Cove, the
Father's
ABC's
Day.
Father's Day, BioCop, Leprechaun Returns, and let's see, and he's got the TV series for Day of the Dead coming up, which should be interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're doing a TV series of it. Looks like
he's done a bunch of he's done because the thing is, this director, he got his start, and he primarily, most of his work is in special makeup effects. His big thing is prosthetics.
Mm-hmm. Worked on Suicide Squad, worked on Crimson Peak.
Yeah, he has an Oscar nom.
Technically, yes, for Oscar win, I believe.
Oh, that's right. Suicide Squad is an Oscar winner.
Yeah.
Oh, god damn it. Mm-hmm. But not the Suicide Squad, the one that is actually good. We're talking about Suicide Squad.
Yes, which has the same number of Oscars as which has one more Oscar than Orson Welles. Yeah, just one of those. Oh,
god damn it. But and that's why the Oscars is let's face it, no longer popular.
This is true.
Yep. But no, I just Ken, you knocked the nail on the head. I cannot sing enough of this film's praises. It does such a good job of committing to the bit. And also, strangely enough, the monster Psycho Goreman is not the heavy hitter in this film. The heavy hitter has to be the main actress, played by, oh god, what is her name? She plays Mimi.
Yeah, she is incredible.
She's so goddamn good.
She perfectly walks that line of crazy person, but also fun and believable. Let's be clear. They're not just digging a hole in the beginning. Nita-Josee Hanna is I don't know, is she Nita-Josee? Josee, and with the first E has one of those T-lays on it. So however you pronounce that.
Your guess is as good as mine. Regardless, she was fantastic, and I hope
just incredible.
She's got a very bright future ahead of her if she continues to work in this industry. It is, I think I've been watching a couple of interviews with the director, and he says when casting and writing for these child characters, he wanted to avoid what he likes to call the Harry Potter syndrome, where it's just a bunch of kids walking into a room of wondrous creatures going, wow. He wanted to write children kind of as they are, and that is weird smartasses who have this weird invulnerability Napoleon complex.
Oh yeah,
where
she's making her brother dig his own grave. That is how they discover Psycho Goreman. But her brother loses it. What is essentially Calvin Ball. If you are familiar with Calvin and Hobbes, it is a absolute nonsense game with a bunch of insane rules. And while playing it, the brother loses, and his punishment is he has to dig his own grave. And she is going to bury him in it. But they find Psycho Goreman instead, which another.
And they thought it was grandma's grave at first.
Oh yeah, and the little girl is insistent that it can't be grandma because grandma's in hell. Which again, God, it's perfect.
But there's just so many perfect moments with these child characters, but also I think they're well supported by their parents.
Yeah, Adam Brooks. Adam Brooks and Alexis Hancey.
Yes. And oh my God, Adam Brooks, who plays the father, Greg, is so goddamn funny and has one of the funniest scenes in this whole movie, which is where he's taking a shit and just fantasizing about how he's telling his wife off about calling him lazy and how he has an English degree. And out of nowhere, because the kids need help and Psycho's been hurt, and all of a sudden, Psycho's face pops out of nowhere like, "Oh, come find me." He's like, "I don't know where you are." This floating head comes back. "I'm on the corner of 46th and 5th in the ravine. I need more specifics." "Okay, go 5 lights over." It is just a movie that commits to the bit and is so goddamn funny. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, and Psycho Goreman himself is played by Matt Ninaber, is playing the character itself, and then Steven Vlahos is the voice. And they are again, like, there's an amazing physicality to the Psycho Goreman performance that I really love, and then the voice gets that perfect kind of campy, but exactly what you would expect from some sort of international hell demon that is, causing that is insistent on crushing the galaxy. And it's but
it's great in this tiny little suburban story. Kind of on the outskirts is this weird sci-fi epic landscape that is just sort of kind of on the sidelines. And you have just the council of aliens constantly, like, who are really just the silliest of characters. And they're all, the creature designs are both incredible and so random. Like, you just have robot alien brain in a jar that it wants to be the first to kill itself. It's, God damn it. I'm trying to, like, it's, I think too, like when this director was going about this too, I think because he had just come off of co-directing The Void, and I think he was more intent on making a serious horror thriller film, but then kind of halfway through, like he says, like there's nothing wrong with the film and it's a great film. I've seen it myself and it's actually it's a good watch. But he says, like, in making it, he kind of got bored, if that makes sense. And he's and like literally, like, while halfway through it, like, he started writing Psycho Goreman, like, while watching a movie that was kind of had a very similar plot. And he's like, "You've seen this plot like 1,000 times. This ancient evil that is uncovered and needs a hero to destroy it." It's like, okay, but what if the hero was a small girl and her wimpy brother, and this girl was kind of a crazy badass, but not like Stranger Things-esque badass, like just a weirdo.
Yeah, just a delightful weirdo. Is a great, like, the whole family is a bunch of delightful weirdos. The dad actually has one of my favorite off the cuff lines towards the end where he goes, "Oh, this TV just keeps bleeding," and it's such a perfect, like, so many directors would gild that lily. They would put the emphasis on the wrong syllable. And this exact, like, there's so many lines in this that are perfectly thrown away, that are perfectly just allowed to be absurd. Like, everything that happens with the zombie cop, I literally cannot stop laughing. Every time he just fires his gun at some random moment, I just lost my mind. It was just the funniest.
There's so many comedic gems in this film, all the way down to like the first people that Psycho Goreman kills, which are just these junkies. And one man, he just has in this proverbial state of torture and pain with his eyes spinning in the back of his head. He's like, this will be his like existence for all of like eternity. And then the kid accidentally like bumps into him and he falls over and his brain explodes. He's like, "Thank you." Mm-hmm. And Gorman's like, "No, my masterpiece." It's down like all the way down to like Psycho Goreman pretty much like invading the boy's dreams. And once he tells the boy what he needs to know, he just stands there. And the boy's like, "So you heading out?" He's like, "Nah, I pretty much got to stick around for the rest of your dream." So,
which I'd like to say that scene, very clearly a shout out to Phantasm, the movie that we directed last week. That is like the same exact thing. And as pointed out in the YouTube, the Scaredy Cats YouTube video that I watched, the way that Psycho Goreman says "boy" is exactly the way that Angus Scrimm says it in that. And there's a lot of the tall man performance in it.
Like, no matter how much time he spends with the brother, like the girl and the brother, he'll never remember the brother's name.
Oh, so good. Like another just incredible gag.
Yeah, I could like, again, like this whole episode could be me just being like, "Hey, remember that one part?" But it's
yeah, we can't stress this enough. See this movie. It is criminally underseen. Of all of the movies that we have reviewed on here, the two movies I do not hear people talk about, but when I do hear them talk about it, they sound like us. It's Psycho Goreman and One Cut of the Dead. Those are the two movies that I cannot stress enough, that because of this pod, like, those are the diamonds in the rough that we have found. There's a lot of other stuff that we found that have been, that, you know, like Wake in Fright was incredible, but that won a major award at Cannes. That movie is doing fine. Yes, where I feel like both of these are movies that nobody has seen.
Well, I mean, and let's face it, the release date for this was May of 2020.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
So there is a reason why this is criminally underseen. And it's the same reason. It's the same reason why The Stylist is criminally underseen.
Now, that said, I would say that I wish I had known about this movie in May of 2020, because this would have been the exact kind of antidote I needed to help me get through the pandemic. Like, this would have been like
and you needed it, Ken. You needed it so hard.
I guess I'll just put on Psycho Goreman again, because it's just like, this movie is a happy place. It is a bloody piece of joy in a cup. Yeah, it is. You are either on board for this movie or not. And
again, stick in the mud.
Yeah, like again, to quote Matt from Scaredy Cats, like, if you look at the brain, the brain in a jar alien in this movie, and you don't want to see it, fuck you. I don't need you in my life.
Yeah,
and that is
who hurt you.
Yeah, like, yeah. Don't you like joy and happiness? Like, what? Like, and like, and speaking of, like, I understand what Steven Kostanski was saying as someone who's made independent straight-to-video horror movies. And I have made the campier ones, and I have made the more serious ones. I got to say, the serious ones, when they work, are effective. But when they don't work, they become an absolute slog. Where if they're a little bit more campy and a little bit more fun, if they don't work, they at least tend to be a little bit more fun and a little more watchable. And then this is the Citizen Kane
you gave me, where it's like, camp can't be made, it's found.
Yes, that's a Roger Ebert quote, to be fair, but yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, the quote that you sent me during the last episode, I think it was. Yes. But yeah, no, like this, because God, what was it like? It was originally scheduled to premiere at like South by Southwest Film Festival, like the premier place to put your film. But then, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic happened, and they screened it later that year as part of like Beyond Fest.
Yeah, it would
And
have
like,
gone on. Yeah, because I think South by got canceled, but Fantastic Fest and Beyond Fest, I think, went online only.
and this is where the Shudder show, I think, kind of like, I think this is where our bread and butter, in the fact that like I don't think this film would be nearly as well known without Shudder
Oh, not yeah, no way. This would be a movie
taking
that
it on as a
just
Shudder exclusive.
yeah, because like it just on top of it, like I understand the reticence of people who don't want to see a movie called Psycho Goreman because it just sounds like it's going to be like a weird slasher movie that's really bloody and over the top, but not in a fun way. Like just in a, yep, good. I'm sick to my
Sure.
stomach. Yeah, I like a good wet movie as much as everybody else, but like there's other times where it's just like, all right, y'all need to calm down. And this is, I can't not recommend this movie enough. Like, go home tonight. It is 90 minutes. You will have a smile on your face the whole time. Period. End of story.
Yeah. But also like we want to know what's really fascinating about this film to me that I really like, and kind of wasn't really until the end. There's like the gore and the violence is honestly the most adult part of it.
Oh,
Everything else is PG.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
literally, and I think that's kind of the inside joke of it, is that there's no curse words.
Well, yeah, they even say the song they sing is like I'm like they say frick the whole time.
I'm the frickin' best.
Yep. Oh hell yeah! Like I got to get that song for my for
which
my,
by the way they do have the score, the soundtrack for this is on vinyl.
Yes.
And they do have their own merchandise. I think the director he got the merchandising rights for Psycho Goreman, and he plans to make more films in this world.
Good. Good.
But he like also he's like this is one of those. I think some of his big influences. I think when people think of this film, I think one of the things that comes to mind is kind of what I was saying earlier: Power Rangers. It's like totally. Power Rangers, but with more blood.
Totally. But like silly blood. Like it's silly, wet, funny blood. Like it's never.
But like it's like Masters of the Universe, like kind of situation where it like
okay.
Yeah, no, it is. It's
very Masters of the
Universe.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
It's like all like weird, crazy, like space swords and like
Frank Langella having the time of his life.
Yeah, like hilarious synth music. But like kind of like what I was saying about like him taking on like the merchandising rights. Like he kind of like back in the day during like things like Masters of the Universe, like you had a lot of those toys just like punch you in the face as you walked into like the nearest toy store. Like it was.
Are you too young for Masters of the Universe?
How dare you, sir?
Well, I don't know. Like, cause like so like. He-Man,
I mean,
was like my OG jam.
Dude, He-Man was my jam.
Yeah, no, like
He-Man, Thundercats.
Yeah, He-Man, Thundercats, and then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would be like the progression of action figure obsession that I went through as a kid. Like,
Were you too old for Power Rangers?
I was like Power Rangers was finding its realm like just as I kind of got out of it. So like my sister watched it, and I had some younger friends because like I was always the youngest kid in my class. So like some of my younger friends who were like a year younger than me, they all watched it, and I thought it was a little silly but still fun. But it wasn't like I couldn't tell you which of the Power Rangers I was. You know what I mean? Like I didn't play Power Rangers, if that makes sense. I watched the show sometimes, but it wasn't like my thing. When they remade the movie, I was like, neat. And that was the extent of my, excitement over it. But I've heard it's decent.
Yeah, no, it's like it was a fun thing to grow up with. I think.
Yeah, totally.
God, I had something on the tip of my tongue in regards to sort of like what else this reminded me of, but no, I think bringing this back to like I've seen movies try their best to be kind of 80s synth icons like in the modern day, And you see that with movies like Turbo Kid, which it's an okay film, but it tries too hard. Like, it tries way too hard. I think one film that actually does the whole like 80s grunge synth vibe really, really well is Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yeah.
Which as soon as that's on Shudder, we are fucking doing it. Like, oh my God, I cannot wait for Shudder to wisen up and bring on Hobo with a Shotgun, because that is just my fucking jam.
Yeah, I would actually say the movie that that I reminded of the most with this is Monster Squad. Like, there's so much of this, like the kind of like vibe and funness, and you're kind of either on board for this thing or not, kind of a vibe. They kind of treat the monsters in a similar way, like just in the, like, they are
humanized.
Well, they're humanized, and they lean into the fact that they look a little silly and fake. You know what I mean? Like, all of the monsters in this are clearly people in suits. Like, there's no hiding it. It's very Mighty Morphin Power Rangers level, like slightly better level of quality than that, but not by a
not
whole
much better.
lot.
Not like,
yeah.
But like,
sorry, go on.
Because what was the budget on this? The budget must have been, because the box office, oh man, the box office. Oh,
it's gonna be like $8. Yeah.
The box office only netted like 95,000.
Yeah, of course.
Which is a goddamn shame. And again, a lot of it it all has to do with COVID. It all has to do with COVID. And if you watch interviews with him when this film was coming out, you can just see how defeated Steven Kostanski looks.
Oh, like, you made your masterpiece.
About where you can find it.
Like, you made your masterpiece, and then like what if you made a masterpiece and nobody came? Like, that's kind of what happened with this. Like, and actually, one of the things that I would be curious about asking Steven about was like, how much of some of the puppets were suits and stuff that had been recycled or Frankenstein together from previous projects to help just solve the budgetary problems of, because like I can see a producer looking at like the Council of Space Aliens and just being like, can't they just be some people in some like silver outfits? That would be like 1,000 times cheaper than all of this nonsense. And him being like, nope, the nonsense is the point.
Yes, it is exactly the fucking point. And the movie would not be nearly as fun if that is the route that they took.
Indeed.
But no, it is. I mean, did you get the chance to watch I think if you look on YouTube, if you look under like behind the scenes, they do like a little behind the scenes thing of like the prosthetic shop and like the creature shop and making all the different monsters and such. Just the idea of like making the character that is literally a vat of just body parts that sprays blood at people.
Yeah, good times. Just good times.
It's not even the blood doesn't even do anything to you. It's just blood, but it just sprays it at you.
It's just funny and gross.
To humiliate you.
Yep.
Like, and also something about Psycho Goreman dressing up as Alan Grant from Jurassic Park.
And again, like, that is another great, like, not only is it a funny gag, but also all of those scenes suddenly, hey, I don't have to be in the full prosthetics. I can just be like head and hands and then like a foam suit underneath. And that saves me a couple of hours of makeup. And that is the kind of stuff that like, this is where Steven's background in makeup effects, I think, really shines through, of knowing how long it's going to take to get those guys on set, and how do you make a schedule work when like one of your actors requires, I'm going to guess, 6 hours of makeup at least.
Mm-hmm. And then,
you have to do stuff.
Like, I find it odd that like Steven Kostanski doesn't think he's a good writer. I've never seen a director like put himself down nearly as much, not since like Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith is one of those guys who's like his own worst enemy, where he's just like, he makes great work, like he makes a lot of really good work, but he constantly thinks he's making shit.
Now, Vince Gilligan is somebody who, the only negative things about Vince Gilligan are ever said by Vince Gilligan, and everybody else just raves about him as he's the nicest, one of the most talented guys working today. But man, listen to an interview with Vince, and he just rags on himself all the time, and you're like, Vince, you're so good.
Like man, there's Humble and there's
there's Humble,
Vince
and then there's
Gilligan.
Vince Gilligan. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, David, do you have anything else to bring up about this just fucking great movie?
Like, I mean, aside from like, I think if you haven't seen, if you have a Shudder membership and you haven't seen this film, it should be at the top of your list.
This is the movie to watch during a free trial.
Yeah. Like if you watch if you're gonna watch this movie, watch it when you're in a really bad mood, because it will immediately put you in a really good mood. It's just to me, it's kind of this weird, gory opposite equivalent of like the movie Chef, where you watch a movie that is like Chef is one of those movies that you watch that's just so wholesome and so feel good that you kind of walk away just feeling great about yourself. Psycho Goreman is one of those movies that's just so silly and fun loving that you just walk away like, I had a great fucking time. Like, it's hard to be in a bad mood after that.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
So if you're looking to put yourself in a good mood and have like more than a couple laughs,
Psycho Goreman,
PG. Ken, what about you? Like, any other things to say about this film?
No, I mean, this movie was a delight when I saw it the first time. It was a delight when I revisited it. It is, I can't recommend it enough. There are things kind of like it, but it also is kind of its own thing. And yeah, I have nothing other to say than I could gush about this movie for the next hour of and then tell you guys all the parts that I liked. But you should just go watch the movie instead.
Yeah, Steven Kostanski, if you're ever watching or listening to this, just take please take our highest compliments and like, dude, knocked it out of the park, man.
Just a perfect
magnum
movie.
opus. Good job, buddy. Ken, we've got some stuff coming up. Like, this has been for one thing, like, I think we're in the middle or kind of at the tail end of October, coming up on Halloween, and we've had a couple of really solid episodes where we had Andy on as guest, but we've got 2 more episodes for the month of Halloween, and man, Ken, we've got some fun ones coming up.
Yeah, next 2 episodes will be up pretty soon, and look forward to those. Some of our bigger, fancier guests.
Ken, who's one of our guests that you are particularly excited about?
Hey, that would be the director of The Stylist. Jill G.
Jill. I've just gone by, like, some people call her director name, like, her director name sometimes is just Jill 6.
Yep.
I've always just found that to be the easiest one, and I feel bad every time I absolutely like.
All right, we're gonna try this. Jill Gervais, or at least cllose. I'm trying, Jill. We're trying.
Oh god, it's gonna be so much fun. It was a shot in the dark, but the thing is, and obviously for sure, like, we're gonna have some questions for her about The Stylist, and we will gush over that film with her for sure. But she is not there specifically for that. She is there to discuss one of the influences for her film, The Stylist, and that is the film May
by Lucky McGee.
That's right, by Lucky McGee, which, Ken, you have not seen.
I have not.
And it is a magical time anytime. Like, I have seen just a fantastic movie that Ken has not.
It does happen.
I cannot wait until he actually watches this and I get to see his genuine reaction when he comes onto that episode.
I'm looking forward to my evening being ruined.
It's going to be fantastic. And then, but before that too, we'll be discussing the film Perfect Blue with my buddy Ryan, who is an absolutely spectacular voiceover artist for multiple anime, including My Hero Academia and Chainsaw Man. Ken, don't knock it till you try it. It's a fun little romp. And the guy's just got talent coming out of every pore of his body. But yeah, outside of that, Ken, where can the lovely people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Ken Stacknick. You can find us on Twitter at Shutter Show. David, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, where I run our Instagram page for the Shutter Show, and that is Shutter_show. You can also find me at _DW Marlowe, where I get up to my regular musings, woodworking projects, and the fun little stuff that we have with our dog and my lovely wife Katie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you want to email us, shuttershow@gmail.com. And other than that,
check that Gmail account. I feel like I haven't checked that account in a while. Am I the only one that checks that one?
I do check it occasionally, but I feel like I'm also probably guilty. So if you emailed us a while ago, I swear we will get to it this week.
Yes.
All right.
So sorry.
Yeah. Well, to everybody out there, we will see you next week for some more Shutter Show. And most importantly of all, ladies and gentlemen, go fuck yourselves.
What a disaster. I love you guys.
Bye-bye.